Best day to pay credit card bill, increase credit score. Did you know that you paying your credit card bill on a certain day actually can increase your credit score? Most people have no idea that this is a major part of how you can actually get a really, really great credit score and how I've been able to increase my credit score myself using this tactic. I'm going to share with you exactly when you should be paying your credit card so that you can have the highest score that you can have. Let's go.
Noelle. Yeah, she can fix that. You gotta get it done, no, you need to do it better. Well, she can fix that. Yeah, she can fix that. Investment to get back, trying to get a big stack. She can fix that. Let's fix that.
So let's get right into it. Paying your credit card, you already know, is very important for your credit score. You know that there are factors that increase your credit score. I'm going to share with you what those factors are. And one of those factors is a major part of when you pay your credit card, why this matters for your overall score. Most people tell you little things about credit here and there, but Noelle Randall is going to tell you the full details directly from creativecreditsolutions.net. They help me fix my personal credit. They probably can help you too. More on them later, but there's a link in the description box if you want to talk to Creative Credit Solutions. And if you have bad credit, tell them Noelle Randall sent you. Okay, so let's get into this. There are 5 factors that increase your credit score. Number 1, your payment history. You know this. You have to make payments on time. So when you have a trade line on your credit report, they will report if you pay on time, if you pay 30 days late, 60 days late, or 90 days late. So most people know, pay my credit card on time. Even if I pay it 29 days or 28 days late, most people know that it will not report as a late payment on my credit bureau. That is true. So again, your credit card is due on a certain date, but literally it won't report negative on your credit report unless you pay 30 days late or more. That's the category. But if you pay 22 days late or 18 days late, yes, you'll pay a late fee, but you don't have to have a negative impact to your credit score. But there's actually another factor in your credit score that's really affecting this. Number 2, utilization. The utilization and how much you use of your credit is a major part of your credit score. The first one, payment history, is 35% of your score. This one is 30% of your score. So it's the second most major factor affecting your credit score is your utilization. Well, what does that mean? So for example, say you have a credit card and the limit is $1,000. The credit bureau will report what the balance is, and depending how close you are to the limit, that is your utilization. So for example, the credit card limit is $1,000. If you charge $700, you would have a 70% utilization. Now, like I said, utilization is 30% of your credit score. It also, 30% is a very important number because to have a good credit score, trying to get that 850, you really want your credit utilization to be less than 30%. But what they do is they add up those revolving accounts and then they say the credit utilization. So if, for example, you have one credit card with 1,000, another one with 10,000, another one 5,000, it's the percentage pretty much of all of the different cards and what that utilization is. That's why a lot of times people might transfer balances from one credit card to another so that their credit utilization stays below 30%. Like I said, utilization is 30% of your credit score, and it's also 30% below the utilization is where you want to get to. And utilization is what we are talking about when we're talking about when to pay that credit card bill. But let me tell you the other 3 factors because it does matter. Number 3, length of credit history. So this will represent 15% of your credit score. So they want to know how long you've had credit. So a lot of times that's why an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old is really, really hard for them to have this perfect credit score because they haven't even had an account for 2 years. Obviously, you usually start getting your first credit accounts when you're 18. So it's really hard for an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old to have these perfect credit scores because that length of credit history is a factor into their credit history. They want to know that you can maintain this over and over year after year. This is not just, oh, you paid your bills really well for a couple of months. You are this low credit risk. So being older and being able to maintain this year after year, this is going to be a factor of your credit score. So again, the length of the credit history. So just as a quick fact, this is why people will tell you, do not close old credit cards that you have because those credit cards being reporting on your credit report for 5 years and 7 years does matter. But here's a quick pro tip. If you close a credit card that you've had for a long time and you close it out with a zero balance and you always paid it well, it's not going to negatively impact your credit. However, I am not a big fan of closing credit cards. I don't know why you would. If they want to close it because you don't use it, that doesn't impact my credit negatively. So I'm not really bothered with that. If I don't use the credit card and they close it, it doesn't ruin my credit score. So closing the credit cards on my own, that doesn't necessarily make sense. But again, that's Noelle Randall's opinion. Again, if you have bad credit, use the link in the description box to Creative Credit Solutions. They help Noelle Randall. They may be able to help you too. They have a free consultation. Now let me tell you the other two factors. Number 4 is going to be credit mix. This will create 10% of your credit profile or impact your credit. 10% of that is the credit mix, meaning what different types of credit do you have? Do you have revolving accounts? Do you have a mortgage? Do you have installment accounts? Do you have student loans? Different types of credit. They don't want you to just have all credit cards or just one car loan. They want you to have auto loans, car loans, mortgages, revolving. You get what I'm saying? The mix of credit matters. So you want different types of credit. Obviously, we're talking about paying a credit card bill. We're talking about revolving credit. That is revolving account. I pay it. It's now available to me. That's what revolving means. So credit cards actually are a great thing for your credit report because it is something that you want. You want some revolving accounts, but here's how you pay them. But there's one more factor. Increase make up 10% of your credit score. So an inquiry is when you do a hard pull. It's also referred to as a hard pull. You've heard of hard pull and soft pull. Hard pull is an increase. Going to put an inquiry on your credit report. They saw your whole credit report. They're making a determination as to whether they're giving you a count. Some credit cards and different things like that will offer a soft pull, meaning they don't give you a hard inquiry. But if they approve you for the credit card, then it becomes a hard inquiry because they want to do a hard pull. So they give you like a preliminary approval. So just know that hard inquiries will stay on your credit report for 24 months and impact the score, but they have less of an impact on your credit score after 12 months. Okay, now I have given you quickly all of the factors for your credit report. You know what's impacting your credit score. We want those good credit scores. And we know that number 2, that credit utilization, because again, revolving accounts are going to be really big on our credit scores and make up 30% of our credit score. So let's get into that. So let's look at my credit card statement. I tried to pick an easy credit card that was really simple for you guys to understand and I could share with you and we can just block out the information. So this is my Chase Freedom card. It has this little itty bitty limit. I barely use this credit card. I have forgot that I charged it, but I will charge something on it every now and then just to make sure I'm using the card and they don't, again, turn the credit card off because I don't use it. So here's this actual credit card statement. You'll see the statement date is September 10th. And it shows you that the bill is due on what? You see it right here, October 7th. So if I don't want to get a late payment and I don't want to pay any late fees, obviously I send in the minimum payment prior to October 7th. You see that? Pretty simple. However, there is something on this statement that I need you to recognize because it's on all of our statements and you want to pay the balance or pay it down as much as possible before the statement close date. The statement close date is going to be the date that you are really looking at, not the payment due date. Okay, so you see that the balance on the credit card is $184.56. You'll also see that the minimum due is $40. But you'll see really, really small where they do this account summary. They get really, really fun with this. And they have the opening and closing date of the statement. And they kind of hide this in the statement. That's why I tried to pick this one because it wasn't as obvious. And you actually had to look. It says the opening date of the statement is August 11th, 2025. And the statement close date, the date that we want, is September 10th, 2025. Now, September 10th, 2025 is when they reported to the credit bureaus what my balance was. Do you see that? That's the statement close date. That's the date they report what the balance is. Now, no matter when they report, so even if they report it on the 15th or the 11th or whatever, they report that number. That's the number that they are going to report to the credit bureau. So you'll see this credit card has a $3,000 limit. You look right there. You can see that really clear. I'll highlight that for you. You'll see that the statement is 30 days, but I want to make sure that I have paid down as much as possible, if not the entire balance, by the 10th of September, because that was the closing statement date. Okay, that's when the statement closed. On this statement, looking right there, September 10th, 2025 was the date that they were looking for. And that is the amount that is reported to the credit bureau. So as you can see on this statement right here, the balance, like I said, is $184.56. You know, the credit bureau does not put cents, on your credit balance when you're reporting the balances. So they're not going to report that 56 cents. They're either going to report $184 or $185. Pretty sure they're going to report $185. I do believe they round up. That is, though, not anywhere that I can find for certain that every company rounds up or rounds down. So that's going to kind of iffy, but just assume they're going to round up, especially in this case, since it is 56 cents, which would be closer to 185 than 184. You guys get that? So they're going to report what? $185 of the $3,000 has been used. Now that is well below 30%. But however, if I had charged something big on the 8th, then they would have reported that, even though most of the time I didn't charge very much. But that's the thing with credit cards. You're charging and paying all throughout the month in many cases. But the key is you want by the statement close date for you to make sure that your utilization is less than 30%, because that's what's going to be reported to the credit bureaus. And so a trick that some people will do is just making sure that's done and then charging something on it the next day, because you now know the date and what number they're going to be reporting to the credit bureaus. So you can easily start to manage your own credit cards, manage your credit report, and know kind of what's going to be reported, especially when it comes to your credit cards and your revolving accounts. And the lower that you can get that, you can almost kind of, I don't like to say the word trick, but you can kind of game where you know what's being reported, and make sure that you are very intentional and very deliberate about how much the balance is on your credit cards when the statement date comes. And again, it's a credit card, so you can just recharge it back, pay it off, and then immediately 2 or 3 days later, charge the card or charge on the card, whatever you need to charge. You get that. So this is really easy. This is not difficult to do. Let me give you one more thing. As I mentioned, your credit utilization, you want it to be 30% or less, and it makes up 30% of your score approximately. However, if you can get your utilization to 10% or lower, that is what's going to get you the highest score possible, less than 10% utilization. So a lot of times what you may want to do is get your limits increased so that your utilization numbers can be fixed. There's lots of different ways to increase your credit scores. And my friends at creativecreditsolutions.net, they may be able to help you. They are absolute experts in credit restoration, not credit repair. Noelle Randall used to be bankrupt, had bad credit, and I was a mess. I was able to fix my credit, and then I ran my credit cards up and messed the whole scoring up altogether. Well, my friends at Creative Credit Solutions helped me get my credit score back in order, so I never have these issues ever again. And now I have business credit, so my personal credit really stays intact. If you have bad credit, this is something that can be fixed. Again, credit restoration. These are experts that can help you and give you all different types of ways to fix your credit, much more so than I could ever give you here in a YouTube video. But more importantly, if you use the link below and you tell them that Noelle Randall sent you, they will give you a free consultation. They may not be able to help everyone, but they may be able to help you because they've helped thousands of people and they have been in business for many, many years. It's my great dear friend that runs the company, and he is a very stand-up person. Again, the link is in the description box. Tell them Noelle Randall sent you for a free consultation. You can get a hold of your credit. I had bad credit. Now I have good credit. You can do the same thing. This is not a permanent thing. And in many cases, there are secrets you don't even know to get things taken off your credit, to get things added that really boost it. And little secrets like I'm sharing here, there are so many more that the experts at Creative Credit Solutions already know. Use the link below. Tell them Noelle Randall sent you. Have a free consultation and see what they can do. There's nothing to lose. Only good could happen from that. Why? Because I want to make sure that you have all of the knowledge, all of the tools, and all of the resources that you need to be successful. This is Noelle Randall. To your success. Hey, all right, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for staying to the end. Go ahead and thumbs up. You stayed to the end. You must have liked it. Come on, like it. I love it. Like it.